The intercom buzzed just past midnight, and Evelyn Morris stood in the lobby with a leather portfolio clutched to her chest. Rain blurred the security feed. The camera above the front entrance turned every drop into white static, but I still recognized her before she looked up. Evelyn had that kind of presence. Even soaked from a storm, even alone under bad fluorescent light, even with one hand pressed around a portfolio like it might be pulled from her, she looked like a woman who had spent years teaching fear not to show on her face. Chloe's stepmom. My ex's stepmom. The woman who had once sat across from me at family dinners while Chloe smiled too brightly and told everyone I was only useful when someone rich needed a scandal buried. I had not seen Evelyn since the breakup. 3 months had passed since Chloe packed half my apartment into 2 suitcases, left a key on the kitchen counter, and told me I cared more about saving other people's reputations than building a real life. The worst part was that she had not been completely wrong. My work as a crisis PR manager had become a bunker. 4 monitors, 2 encrypted servers, no lamps on after sunset, cold coffee beside the keyboard, and a phone that only rang when somebody powerful was bleeding in public. The intercom buzzed again. I pressed the release button. 2 minutes later, a quiet knock came at my door. When I opened it, Evelyn stood on the threshold in a raincoat, water dripping onto the hallway mat. She did not step inside. She looked once over her shoulder, then back at me. The leather portfolio stayed tight in both hands. "Don't tell her I came," she whispered. The words were dangerous without context, so I did not give them room to become something else. I stepped back, pointed to the small security screen mounted near my door, and kept my voice low. "The hallway is clear. The camera saw only you. You choose whether to come in." Evelyn's eyes flicked to the monitor. Only then did she cross the threshold. I closed the door but did not lock the chain until she nodded. She set the portfolio on the table beside the entry before removing her raincoat herself and hanging it over the back of a chair near the vent. No touch. No confusion. No scene anyone could edit into a lie. "What does Chloe not need to know yet?" I asked. Evelyn turned toward me. Her face was pale, but her voice held. Marcus baited her account too. That was the first clean sentence. Not an affair secret. A containment problem. She opened the portfolio and removed a printed screenshot of a social media message sent to Chloe from a private account. The words were polite enough to be poison. "Ask your mother why the board is meeting early Friday. Ask her who she really sold the Singapore route data to." Evelyn placed the paper on the table. "If Chloe posts one angry defense of me tonight, Marcus will use it as proof that I coordinated a family cover-up," she said. "He knows she reacts fast when someone attacks me. He wants her emotional reaction on record before I can build facts." There was the first anchor. Evelyn was here because staying silent looked guilty, but speaking publicly too early would let Marcus turn her own stepdaughter into evidence against her. "What did Marcus do?" I asked. She opened the portfolio wider. Inside were printed stills from a video, a copied founder's agreement, several emails, and a highlighted clause that I recognized before I finished the first paragraph. Morality and compliance. Corporate poison wrapped in legal language. "He has a video," Evelyn said. "A deepfake or an edited compilation. It makes it look like I discussed insider route transfers with a competitor. If he leaks it before Friday's board meeting, the morality clause in my founder's agreement lets the board suspend my voting rights while they investigate." There was the second anchor. Marcus did not need the video to survive court. He needed it to survive 48 hours of panic. "What does he want?" I asked. "My company," she said. "My shares. Control of Morris Freight's Singapore expansion. He still holds a minority board seat through the divorce settlement. If he triggers a no-confidence vote, he can force me out before forensic review clears me." There was the third anchor. Corporate extortion. Reputational timing. A boardroom coup. And my reason for involvement was practical before it was personal. I was the only independent reputation fixer who knew Marcus, knew Chloe, and had no direct reporting line to Evelyn's board. Still, I did not move toward the files. Not yet. "Why not call your PR agency? They report to the Corporate Communications Committee. Marcus has 2 allies there." "Your legal team?" "Already reviewing the contract, but legal moves slower than a leak. I need a containment plan before morning." "Police? With what? A possible deepfake no one has authenticated and a private threat routed through Chloe? If I go public without proof," Marcus says. I panicked. She had already mapped the exits. "Good." I looked at the portfolio. "If I take this, we do it clean. Written scope. Your counsel copied. No secret contact with Marcus without David reviewing the language. Chloe learns the truth as soon as she can no longer be used as leverage." Evelyn's expression shifted at David's name. David Hale? My legal analyst, I said. Not your lawyer, not mine. He flags risk before I turn a reputation problem into a procedural problem. Good, she said. I don't need shortcuts. I need something Marcus cannot twist. That sentence decided the room. I pointed to the dining table. Sit there. Keep the originals in view. I'll make tea and open a clean case file. You drink tea? No, Chloe did. The kettle stayed. Evelyn's eyes softened for half a second at her stepdaughter's name. Then she picked up the portfolio and carried it to the table. The apartment had not been built for guests. It was a server room pretending to be a home. 4 monitors glowed blue over a reinforced steel desk. 2 hard drives blinked in a rack near the wall. A whiteboard held timelines from 3 unrelated client crises. The coffee beside my keyboard had gone cold hours ago, and I realized I had not turned on a single lamp. I turned one on. The room changed immediately. Not warm, less abandoned. Evelyn noticed, but did not comment. I logged the portfolio contents on camera, printed screenshots, founder's agreement, email threat, divorce addendum, Chloe bait message. I photographed each page, assigned numbers, and placed the originals in clear sleeves. Evelyn watched every step. Do you always treat paper like evidence? She asked. When someone might lie about it later. Marcus will. Then we help him regret choosing paper. That got the smallest breath from her. Not laughter yet, but air returned. I called David at 12:31. He answered on the 4th ring, with the voice of a man who expected every midnight call to be expensive. Tell me nobody famous died, he said. Worse. Morality clause. Alleged deepfake. Board vote Friday. Ex-husband minority shareholder. Possible extortion demand. Silence. Then sheets rustled. I'm awake. I put him on speaker after Evelyn nodded consent. David listened without interrupting as she summarized Marcus's threat. He asked 6 questions. Who held board voting rights? What the founder agreement required? Whether the alleged footage had been distributed? Whether Marcus had directly demanded shares? Whether Chloe had replied? And whether Evelyn's counsel had been notified? When Evelyn answered the last question, David said, Good. No cowboy moves. Oliver drafts containment messaging. I review language for legal risk. Evelyn's counsel owns all formal contact. Agreed, Evelyn said. David added, And Chloe? Evelyn looked at the bait message on the table. Not yet. Define not yet, David said, until Marcus cannot use her reaction as evidence of coordination. That is acceptable for hours, David said, not days. Evelyn's jaw tightened. I know. Good. A boundary placed before the crisis could hide inside secrecy. For the next 3 hours, the apartment became a controlled containment room. I placed Evelyn's phone in a Faraday pouch after she sent one message to her counsel. With Oliver Bennett, limited crisis scope. David Hale reviewing risk. I am safe. Do not contact Chloe yet. Then I gave her a clean burner phone for counsel, and me only. She did not argue. She read the note I taped to the back. No social posting, no board contact, no Marcus, no Chloe until counsel approves. Blunt, she said. Readable under stress. Fair. I started with the video stills. The screenshots Marcus had sent were designed to look ugly at first glance. Evelyn in a dim restaurant booth, a man across from her, captions suggesting she was discussing shipping routes and insider transfer timing. But the edges of the wine glass in the frame shimmered wrong. The pattern behind her shoulder repeated too cleanly. Her hand in frame 2 had 6 softened knuckles if you zoomed far enough. Deepfake artifacts? Evelyn asked, from the other side of the desk. Likely. Not enough yet. What is enough? Original file. Upload path. Or Marcus, tying the threat to an equity demand. She pulled a folded document from the portfolio. I think I have the last one. I looked up. This came yesterday, she said. The addendum. I flattened it under the desk lamp and read. At first glance, it looked like a private divorce settlement modification paired with a non-disclosure term. Dense, polite, designed to bore the reader into surrender. Then Section 4 appeared. If Evelyn resigned as CEO, surrendered voting rights in perpetuity, and accepted Marcus's revised equity structure, Marcus would cease all publication, transmission, or disclosure of undisclosed reputational materials related to alleged executive misconduct. I read the paragraph twice, then slid the document toward the scanner. David, I said, I'm here. You need to see Section 4. I scanned it and sent it through the secure channel. David took 90 seconds. That is not a smoking gun yet, he said, but it is close enough to burn his hand. He tied corporate equity concessions to suppressing reputational harm. Counsel can frame this as a blackmail risk record and a shareholder coercion attempt. Evelyn closed her eyes once. The kettle clicked off in the kitchen. The small sound filled the room. Can it stop the board meeting? She asked. David answered before I did. Not by itself, but it changes the strategy. We do not beg the board to believe you. We present Marcus as the source of procedural risk. That was the shift. Not defense. Counter leverage. I poured tea for Evelyn and coffee for myself. She took the mug with both hands but did not drink immediately. The steam moved between her and the documents. Marcus thinks I will protect Chloe from scandal by disappearing, she said. Yes. He also thinks I will protect the company by giving him what he wants. Yes. She opened her eyes. Then we protect both without giving him either. I looked at her properly. Chloe had once called Evelyn cold, conveniently controlled, a woman who made even breakfast feel like a board agenda. Chloe had been wrong. This was not coldness. It was discipline under attack. By 4:20, I had the first containment memo drafted. Not a denial. Denials could look panicked. The statement announced that Morris Freight had detected signs of a coordinated digital impersonation attempt targeting executive leadership, that outside counsel and independent technical experts were reviewing materials, and that the company would delay any leadership confidence motion involving unverifiable digital content until forensic authentication concluded. Evelyn read it once, then marked 3 lines with a pen. You're making me sound passive here, she said. I leaned over the page. Which line? Miss Morris will cooperate with review. Change it to Miss Morris requested immediate independent review. I did not get dragged into this. I changed it. She marked another line. Potentially altered media. Too weak. Say unauthenticated media allegedly depicting executive misconduct. That forces them to admit it is alleged. I changed that too. Her company had not survived because she was lucky. She knew language as leverage. At 5:03, David called back. Evelyn's counsel can request a limited reputational containment meeting with Marcus's attorney at noon, he said. No direct threats. No media talk. We show the addendum, frame the legal exposure, and offer one clean exit. Withdrawal of the addendum, written preservation of all digital materials, waiver of any share claim triggered by the alleged video, and no contact with Chloe. Evelyn looked at me. What about the video? We do not ask him to destroy evidence yet, David said. We require preservation. Destruction comes only after counsel confirms chain of custody. Otherwise, he can say the proof vanished because you demanded it. Evelyn nodded slowly. Clean. I wrote the word on the case board. Clean exit. At 6, the rain stopped. Gray morning spread across the balcony glass. The city looked washed out and unfinished. Evelyn stood near the window holding her tea, still in the same clothes, hair drying in loose waves around her shoulders. The portfolio was no longer clutched to her chest. It lay open on the table because we had turned panic into folders. You should rest for an hour, I said. You look worse than I do. That is baseline. Oliver. Oliver. I looked up. Her tone was not soft. It was CEO. Take your own advice before you collapse in the meeting. I almost argued. Then the cursor blinked on the monitor, and my hand stopped above the keyboard. For 1 second, I could not remember whether I had saved the revised memo or only thought about saving it. Memory gap. Small. Dangerous. I saved the file twice. Evelyn saw the hesitation. She did not make it emotional. She pulled out a chair. 30 minutes, she said. Timer on. I review the board memo. You close your eyes. If Marcus moves, David calls. It was not comfort. It was operational care. I sat. The timer went on. For 30 minutes, the servers hummed, the city brightened, and someone else held the line. When the timer rang, Evelyn already had 3 edits ready. None were sentimental. All of them were correct. She had removed a sentence that made Marcus sound too powerful, tightened the board risk paragraph, and added 1 line I wished I had written myself. No governance action should proceed from materials whose source benefits directly from the action. I looked at the sentence. That stays, I said. I know. At 11:50, we arrived at Sterling and Vance. Evelyn wore a charcoal suit and carried only 1 slim folder. I carried the black briefcase with the numbered copies. Her counsel had authorized the meeting and joined by video. David sat in my ear through a secure audio line, silent unless needed. Marcus was already in the conference room. Silver hair, tailored suit, the calm of a man who believed every room was a document he owned. His lawyer sat beside him. Chloe sat in the corner. That was the first hit I had not expected. She looked up from her phone and saw me first. Then Evelyn. Her eyes narrowed. "So it's true," Chloe said. Evelyn stopped just inside the door. Marcus smiled. A trap within the trap. He had brought Chloe to turn the meeting into family theater, to make Evelyn look secretive, to make me look personally motivated. Evelyn did not look at me. She looked at Chloe. "I came to Oliver last night because your account was baited," she said calmly. "I did not tell you first because Marcus intended to use your reaction as evidence. You deserve the truth. You did not deserve to be used." Chloe stood. "That sounds convenient." Marcus leaned back. Evelyn opened her folder, removed the bait message, and placed it on the table. "Read it." Chloe did not move. Marcus said, "This is not necessary." Evelyn looked at him. "It is exactly necessary." Chloe crossed the room, snatched the page up, and read. Her face changed before she finished. Just a fraction, but enough. The meeting proceeded anyway. I stayed standing, not beside Evelyn like a shield, behind the chair opposite Marcus, where every document I presented had to speak louder than my history with Chloe. I opened the briefcase and slid one folder to Marcus's lawyer. "This is a limited response packet," I said. "It contains the alleged media stills, preliminary artifact notes, the Chloe bait message, and the settlement addendum tying corporate share concessions to suppression of reputational material. Evelyn's counsel is present by video. David Hale, my legal analyst, has reviewed language for procedural risk." Marcus laughed once. "Your legal analyst. How official?" David's voice came through my earpiece. "Do not punch tone. Document tone." I ignored Marcus and addressed his lawyer. "Your client has one clean exit before Friday's board meeting. Withdraw the addendum. Preserve all digital files relating to the alleged video. Waive any claim to Evelyn's shares based on unauthenticated media. Cease contact with Chloe about Morris Freight. In return, Evelyn holds public response until counsel reviews the materials." The lawyer opened the folder. He read, Section 4. His expression tightened. "Marcus," he said quietly. "Did you draft this yourself?" Marcus waved one hand. "Standard pressure language." "Pressure language is precisely the problem," Evelyn's counsel said from the screen. Chloe looked at Marcus. "You messaged me because you wanted me to post." Marcus's jaw shifted. "You were worried about your stepmother." "No," Chloe said, still holding the paper. "You wanted me loud." The room went quiet. Chloe looked at me then. The anger was still there. So was something else. Recognition. Maybe. Not apology. "Not yet. I'm not forgiving anyone in this room today," she said, "but I'm not helping him hurt her." Evelyn's hand tightened once around the back of her chair. She did not reach for Chloe. She did not push. She let the sentence stand. That mattered. Marcus's lawyer requested a private recess. We stepped into the hallway. Chloe came out 2 minutes later. She stopped near the window, arms folded. I kept my distance. "You should have told me," she said. "I know. I would have been angry." "Yes, I still am." "Yes." She looked toward the conference room door. He knew I would react. "Yes?" Her mouth tightened. I hate that he was right. Evelyn stood a few feet away, silent. Chloe looked at her. "I don't know how to fix what I said about you after the divorce." Evelyn's voice stayed even, but the effort showed at the edges. "Not today." Chloe nodded once. "Not today." That was not healing. It was a door left unlocked. Marcus signed by 240. Not everything. Enough. He withdrew the addendum, agreed to preserve all digital materials, waived any attempt to trigger Evelyn's share forfeiture based on unauthenticated media, and stopped all contact with Chloe regarding Morris Freight. His lawyer insisted on careful wording. David reviewed every line. Evelyn's counsel approved. Clean exit. Documented. Not trust. Paper. Back in the car, Evelyn placed the signed packet on her lap and stared through the windshield at the bright afternoon street. For once, neither of us spoke in strategy. The driver waited at the curb with the engine idling. People walked past the law office carrying coffee, umbrellas, folders, groceries. Normal lives moving past a war they would never see. Evelyn touched the corner of the signed waiver. "He almost used her resentment as a weapon," she said. "Yes." "And mine." "Yes." "And yours." I looked at her. She did not turn away from the window. "Chloe hurt you," Evelyn said. Marcus knew that. He brought her into the room so your history would become noise. I said nothing. The professional answer would have been clean. It did not arrive. Evelyn finally looked at me. You did not let it. My job was to keep the room clean. No, she said. Your job was to keep the evidence clean. The room was harder. The driver's blinker clicked softly. I looked down at my hands. The left one was gripping my knee hard enough to whiten the knuckles. I released it. Friday's not finished, I said. I know. Marcus will still argue uncertainty. I know. You will need the board to see procedure, not personal conflict. I know, Oliver. Her voice softened around my name, then steadied again. And you will need to sleep before then. I almost smiled. You have become very demanding for someone who arrived at midnight asking for help. I learned fast. That was the second real relief beat. Not romantic. Not yet. But human. By Friday morning, the board meeting had changed shape. Evelyn entered with her counsel, the containment memo, and the signed withdrawal. I was present only as a reputation consultant, seated along the wall, with David's annotated packet in front of me. Marcus tried one more play. He argued that uncertainty alone justified a temporary vote of no confidence. Evelyn stood before the board without raising her voice. Uncertainty created by a shareholder cannot become that shareholder's weapon, she said. I requested independent review. Mr. Vance withdrew his addendum. No authenticated media has been produced. The board may audit me. It may not remove me based on a threat. That sentence did more than my memo could. The board chair asked for the outside forensic review timeline. Evelyn had it ready. Her counsel provided a 48-hour authentication window, a preservation protocol, and an independent examiner list. David's legal risk note remained in the appendix, not the spotlight. My containment memo framed the public message. Morris Freight had been targeted by an unauthenticated digital impersonation attempt and had requested independent review before any governance action. No panic, no denial spiral, no Marcus-controlled clock. The board postponed any confidence vote until forensic review. Evelyn retained control. The Singapore expansion remained under her leadership. Marcus lost the timing window he needed. When the meeting ended, Evelyn stayed in the room to speak with her executive team. She did not look for me immediately. Good. That meant the company was hers again. I waited in the hall with David on the phone. Clean? He asked. Clean enough. That is as close to joy as you get. Do not overreach. You should bill for the emotional repression. It is extensive. I ended the call before he could get worse. Across the hall, Chloe stood near a window with her arms folded. I had not seen her enter. She looked older than she had 3 months ago. Not in years, in consequences. I watched the board vote from the overflow room, she said. It wasn't a vote. Exactly. I nodded. She looked through the glass at Evelyn, who was speaking to her COO and counsel. She looked like herself, Chloe said. She is. Chloe's mouth tightened. I said things after the divorce. About her. About you. About everybody. I made it easy for Marcus to guess what would make me react. You were angry. That explains it. It does not clean it. No. She looked at me then. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I know. I just wanted you to know I won't be his weapon again. That sentence did not fix us. It did something better. It gave the future a shape that did not require pretending the past had not happened. Good, I said. Chloe almost smiled. You are still terrible with feelings. Yes. Evelyn is better. Yes. Don't hurt her. I looked through the glass at Evelyn. She makes her own choices. That is not an answer. It is the only answer I trust. Dodd. Chloe studied me for a second, then nodded. Fine. Better than a promise you can't prove. Then she walked away. 2 weeks later, the company's outside forensic team confirmed the stills were fabricated from public footage and synthetic audio. Marcus's board allies went quiet. His legal team stopped calling. The signed preservation order remained in place. The Singapore expansion stayed under Evelyn's control. The crisis closed one document at a time. Only then did Evelyn call Chloe properly. Not text. Not through me. She invited her to lunch at a public restaurant near the river and told her the full sequence. The bait message, the addendum, the board clause, the reason she came to my apartment, the reason she waited. Chloe did not forgive everyone over soup. That would have been too easy. But she sent me one text that night. She told me the truth. I'm still mad. But I know why you didn't call me. Don't make me regret believing that. I stared at the message longer than I should have. Then typed back, I won't. After that, my apartment became too quiet again, but not the same quiet. The servers still hummed, the monitors still glowed, cold coffee still appeared beside my keyboard because I remained incapable of finishing a cup while it was useful. Yet I had started turning on a lamp after sunset. One lamp, near the balcony door. It was a small thing. Small things are often the first evidence that a system has changed. The charity gala happened on the last Friday of the month. Morris Freight hosted it at the downtown plaza. All crystal light, white flowers, and logistics executives pretending they attended for philanthropy instead of contracts. I stood near the back wall in a dark suit, holding sparkling water. I had no intention of drinking. I had not come as Evelyn's fixer. That role was closed. David had filed the containment memo. Marcus had signed the waiver. The board position was secure. Chloe knew the truth before the invitation ever reached me. Still, habit tugged at me. Watch the exits. Stay near the wall. Leave once she looks safe. Then Evelyn saw me. She stood near the front of the ballroom in a navy gown, speaking with two board directors. She looked composed, not armored. Strong, not cornered. When our eyes met, she excused herself and walked toward me in front of everyone. No whisper. No hidden hallway. No secret left for Marcus to exploit. You came, she said. You asked. I did. She looked toward the front table. Chloe is here. I followed her gaze. Chloe stood near the far side of the ballroom with a glass of water, talking to a woman from Evelyn's legal team. She looked over at us. For a second, nothing happened. Then Chloe gave one small nod. Not blessing. Not forgiveness. Closure. Evelyn saw it too. Her shoulders eased by a fraction. I'm giving a speech in 10 minutes, she said. Before I do, I want to introduce you to the board chair. I tensed. Evelyn, I'm a crisis manager. Discretion is usually the point. You are not here as my fixer, she said. You are here because I asked as Evelyn, and Chloe knows I asked. That was the clean line. No secrecy. No leverage. No debt. A choice. I looked at the monitors behind the stage, the cameras near the podium, the soft blue light over the donors' tables. The room was full of reputations, which meant it was full of traps. But for once, I was not there to dismantle one. I was there because someone had made space. The servers in my apartment were miles away. The cold coffee was not beside my keyboard. The intercom was silent. I took my hand out of my pocket. Lead the way, I said. Evelyn smiled. We walked forward together. She did not take my arm, and I did not take hers. We did not need to perform certainty for a room that traded in appearances. She introduced me simply. This is Oliver Bennett, she said. He helped protect the truth when it would have been easier to hide from it. The board chair shook my hand. Across the room, Chloe looked away first, but she did not leave. That was enough. Later, Evelyn stood at the podium. Her speech was short, sharp, and generous. She thanked her staff, her drivers, her warehouse teams, and the people who kept supply chains moving when nobody saw their names. She did not mention Marcus. She did not mention the video. She did not need to. When applause filled the ballroom, I found myself looking at the glass doors near the balcony. Rain had started again. Soft this time. Not the violent storm that brought her to my door. Just a clean tapping against the city glass. Evelyn stepped down from the stage and came back to my side. Still counting exits? She asked. Only 2. Progress. Temporary. Her smile was quiet and real. After this, she said, there is a balcony with rain and no crisis waiting on it. That sounds suspicious. It is just weather. I looked at her, at the woman who had arrived at my door with a secret that could have ruined 3 lives, then chose to make the truth public before it curdled into shame. Then I'll try not to fix it, I said. She laughed. The sound cut through the room cleaner than any statement I had ever written. We stepped onto the balcony after the speech, standing beneath the overhang, while rain stitched the city into soft silver lines. Behind us, the gala continued. Glasses, music, applause, all the polished noise of people who believed success meant never needing help. Evelyn rested both hands on the railing. I almost did not come to you that night, she said. Why did you? Because I knew you would ask for context before assuming the worst. That answer landed harder than praise. Most people came to me because I could make bad headlines smaller. Evelyn had come because she trusted me not to make a bad headline out of her. I looked at the city. I almost did not open the door. I know. You do? You looked like a man who had trained himself to survive by not opening doors. The rain hit the overhang in a soft rhythm. I did not have a clean response, so I used an honest one. I am still learning when to open them. Evelyn turned toward me. Good, she said. I am not asking you to move fast. No? No. I am asking you to stop treating every invitation like a trap. I breathed out once. The old reflex wanted to joke. The better part of me stayed quiet. Dinner next week? She asked. Public? Yes. Chloe knows? She will make fun of me for asking. David will make fun of me for answering. Then everyone important is informed. I smiled, despite myself. Yes, I said. Dinner next week. When we went back inside, Chloe was near the dessert table, pretending not to watch us. David texted me 3 seconds later. If this is personal now, please file an emotional disclosure form. I showed Evelyn the message. She read it, smiled, and typed back from my phone before I could stop her. Approved by Evelyn Morris. David replied almost instantly. Terrifying. I support this. For the first time in months, the room did not feel like a crisis waiting for a headline. It felt like a beginning with witnesses. And for a man who had built his life around controlling other people's damage, that felt more dangerous than any scandal. It also felt worth staying for. Closing thoughts. Core lesson. Real loyalty protects the truth without turning secrecy into leverage. Green flag. They help you win cleanly, then make room for honesty with the people who matter. Please like and subscribe so we can share more stories like this. The end.